Hey Astro Bays. Okay, so I'm back with a new astrology video. In this astrology video, I want to talk about synastry. Okay, synastry in astrology is so important. It could help you understand why you and somebody have a certain relationship dynamic. Um, it's beyond than just the sun sign. You may assume that because you and somebody are the same sun sign, or you and somebody have water and earth type of synastry going on, that is going to be a perfect match, but that's not always the case. So that's why it's important to look at every single placement in a chart when you're comparing and contrasting your chart versus your loved one's chart, and just looking at the similarities and differences and how it plays a role in you guys' overall relationship. So I'm going to give you some examples and I'm going to break down. So for example, I am a Cancer sun, and I have a sister, a sibling, a blood relative that is a Capricorn sun, right? So naturally we know Cancer and Capricorn, they're sister signs. So there's some opposition going on there. So now sister signs, I think of it, or like to break it down like fraternal twins, right? Fraternal twins are similar. They have similarities. They were born at the same time or the same day or whatever, but they are very different, whether they're different in looks or they're different in gender or whatever. That's what sister signs are like. Opposites, but very similar. So Cancer is water and Capricorn is earth, and it's cardinal energy. Mother and father energy, sort of like. Now, I don't exactly remember every single chart placement in my sister's chart, but I know that we do have a lot of oppositions in each other's charts, and we have some squares going on as well. So, I've experienced some fucked up shit with my Capricorn sister, right? Don't get me wrong, when we were younger, I can recall a lot of times that where she would buy me food, give me money, or fight for me, or stand up for me in a fight, or things like that, right? That's very Capricorn-like energy. But from my experience, we've had more negative experiences within our synastry. I've experienced abuse at her hands, right? She's the older sister, by the way. My Capricorn sister is the older sister. I've experienced abuse at her hands. I've experienced all sorts of things. I don't want to dive in too much and put too much of our business out there, but I've experienced a lot of toxicity between my sisters and I relationships dynamic, right? And that's why it's important to look at every chart placement, because for example, she's a Capricorn sun, I'm a Cancer sun. There's opposition there. So oppositions in astrology can create experiences of jealousy. Oppositions in astrology can create experiences of constant fighting or bickering or arguing, right? Because it's like a push and pull sort of energy. It's like a resistance. It's like you give some, you take some, or somebody's taking too much, or somebody's giving too much, right? And oppositions are always calling for a balance, because it's a yin yang energy. So it's like too much yin, not enough yang, it's going to be unfair. Too much yang and not enough yin is going to be unfair, right? So it's like a balance of the scales in opposition. So another thing to look at in astrology is, you may think that, just hypothetically speaking, you may think that because you're a Leo sun and your best friend is a Sagittarius sun, y'all just naturally go together, but y'all have so many like complicated, like really rough, complicated relationship experiences. And that may be because your Sagittarius best friend, her Chiron in Virgo aspects your Mars in Virgo. So what you do triggers her, and her triggers and her wounds triggers your actions, right? So that's an important thing to look at in astrology. Someone's Chiron could be, you can't figure out why they keep gaslighting you, or why they keep emotionally manipulating you, or why they keep stealing from you, or whatever the case. Their Chiron can be sitting on your Venus, right? Their Chiron might be in the same sign that your Venus sign is in, right? Another experience, real life experience here, is not hypothetical. I could dive more into this because, respectfully, fuck that nigga. But another real life synastry experience that is so important is that south node, north node synastry dynamic, okay? Take a deep breath. My father has never been a present father in my life. I've experienced one time, like one stint, whether it was like, I give it like a year, maybe 2 years max, to where he was a present father, an active father out of my whole 28 years of living. Okay? Don't get me wrong. My mom says he was in my life when I was younger, but I don't remember that at all, because he left when I was about like 3 or 4, right? So, okay, let me not. I give him a good 6 years out of my whole 28 years of living of being a present parent. Anyway, I've experienced a lot of childhood wounds because of that. Even as an adult, I've reached out to him time after time. I've been reaching out to him as of recently, getting ignored. He doesn't want to be in my life. He doesn't want to be in his grandchildren's life, my children. Couldn't figure out why. My spirit is like, let me pull up his chart and see what the fuck is going on, because I can't like, this shit, it can't be. Oh Lord, it can't be. Okay? So I pulled up his chart. My sun sign is in Cancer. Come to find out, my father's south node is in Cancer. Okay? So that south node and personal placement synastry is very, very tricky, and you have to be very, very careful. Okay? Because when somebody's south node is aspecting your personal placements, at some point it's like you're going to be holding them back, or they're going to be holding you back, right? Because the south node represents the past. The south node represents what we like. It's already who we are. It's not what we came here to do, right? My father has a north node in Capricorn. He's a fucking workaholic. That's his thing. That's a part of his purpose, mastering his work relationship and the type of hard work he puts in, etc., etc. But because my son is in Cancer and his south node is in Cancer, I trigger him. I trigger wounds, emotional wounds from the past that he's not necessarily ready to master, let alone ready to bring forward with him in the present moment. We weren't meant to have a long-term relationship dynamic. Okay? He did what he was supposed to do when him and my mom got together and made me, and he did his part. Right? That's what it was. That's all it was going to be. Right? So we have to be very careful with that south node synastry, because somebody whose south node is aspecting your moon or your Venus or your Mercury or your Chiron, that shit from the past, you guys are literally going in 2 different directions. Okay? Somebody's south node is in the sign as your north node. Y'all are going in 2 different directions in life. It's not meant to be long term. Okay? I'm going to make a part 2 to synastry, astrology, but I hope you guys enjoy this one. Please like and share. Peace.